Hello YouTube, this is Charlie426 and today we have something interesting to review. Yesterday this just arrived at my house. This is the, how should I say this? This is the 20th anniversary of Monster Hunter and they did a collab. So Capcom and Takara Tomy did a collaboration using their Zoids Wild product to release the Sonic Bird Laeus. So I believe now I've played the Korean version and the English version of the Monster Hunter series games, and I believe like these names could be very confusing depending on which version you played. So to most English players, this would be known as Razihel, as far as I know. But in English, in Korean, and Japan, this guy is called Laeus, as far as if I remember correctly. So which is why they call it Laeus. So for those who are, this could be a little bit confusing, but yeah, just you get the general idea. So yeah, they came up with this amazing box art. There was the actual Razihel or Laeus, and then the product version. Although I'm gonna say right off the bat, the product itself cannot do this pose, which I will explain later. But once again, I absolutely love the box as well. Now there is another product that came out together, or that taken pre-order months ago together. One being this one, and the other being based on Magnum Malo. And that the kit they used was for the typical Liger kit that was in Zoids Wilds. However, to me that was a very huge stretch, which is why I did not pre-order it. But once again, I think most people got the same idea, because when I was pre-ordering it, this sold out first, and then the other Magnum Malo not so much, but you get the idea. Alright, so here we have the box, amazing box art as well. And then heck, I didn't really notice this, but there is the actually pilot. So the original Sonic Bird. So I do not own the Sonic Bird Zoids Wild kit. Once again, for Zoids Wilds, the most hated aspect, at least for me, is the fact that the pilots are riding on top of the head. When in the Zoids Wild, universe, there's lasers, missiles, bullets flying all over the place, and the pilot is outside. Yeah, that's pretty much a death trap. And then looking at the back here we have the whole thing. Now the overall kit, as far as I understood it, it's the same kit, but it's just a recolor. Of course, in this case, they added something a little bit more here, so which I'll get into later. Alright, so here we have the product. Now, the reason why I started with the box is because this thing cannot go on my spinning display dish, because once again it's a little bit long because of the tail, and it's going to collide with the wall here as well. So as usual, let's go over what you get out of the box, because there are some parts that I did not expect to receive from this kit, and even on the box does mention that it comes with extra parts / weapons. So let's see what we got. So first of all, what you get, of course, is obviously the Sonic Bird Laeus, or Razihel itself. Definitely, I'm really surprised how just the recolor looks pretty convincing on the head here. So I'm very amazed and surprised at the same time. And you get some very cool sticker decal. I think I'm gonna keep this. I'm not sure when I'm gonna be using this, but this is really cool. So this is a sticker decal here. Here we have the large one and the smaller versions of 4. So very cool. The instruction manual, as far as I checked it a few times, and they don't really mention where to slap it on. So it's really up to your choice where to use it. And then here are the leftover parts / like extra bonus weapon parts. So for this one, these two rubber parts are actual leftover pieces, just in case if one of them the ones that you use get damaged, or if you lose them, you still have 2 spares. So that's always good to have spares, because once again, I believe these were also very crucial things when it comes to the Zoids. Alright, and then here we get some extra weapons. Now these are not meant for this kit, but they just come with the kit as well. So you get these giant cannons with foldable barrels here. So you get 2 of them. Very surprised as well. Sorry about that, there's a fly here. Alright, so here we have these cannons going on here. And then, yeah, they're all folded up. Of course, on one side they look very cool. On the other side, they're all emptiness, like this. I know there are some people who really hate this aspect, but oh well. So I've tried to slap this onto the kit, and well, there are some pegs here which you could technically use, but once again, it just doesn't make any sense to have these on the wings. And then if you open the wings, they just don't make sense. So yeah, but once again, you do get these 2 cannons, so it's really up to your choice how to use them as well. So you get 2. Alright, and then here we have the pilot. Now, unlike the image that we saw on the box here, where it's a really cool looking, now not exactly the hunter armor that we see in the game, but they try to replicate as much as possible, but once again, not that great. And this is supposed to slap on here, and once again, I absolutely hate this, so I'm just gonna throw this away. Now here I would consider these as leftover parts, but once again, the way how you're supposed to use these, if I understood them correctly based on the manual, so you have these blades here. You have these blades that goes on the wings. So these are like, so originally these blades would not be on the Sonic Bird. So the Sonic Bird would just end its wings here, but you get these extra longer wings and blades here, so you can attach it to these here, and then to make yeah, there we go. I think this is yeah. So what you can do here is you can, I'm just gonna close it. So you're supposed to put that wing blade thing here and then make it into like a typical blade liger blade weapon, energy blade weapon here. So if you want to use those blades, you can use this as well. So you get 2 sets for left and right, so really up to you. Alright, so that is pretty much it for bonuses. Now let's see the actual kit itself. So there's not much to talk about in terms of articulation, because once again, the biggest like gripe I had with, as much as I love Zoids at the time, my biggest downside for the whole brand and franchise was that they were so stubborn on using the motorized core gimmick. So meaning that they wanted to make these guys move. So what they would do is that you have a switch here, and this guy could move or walk around like that. Now I mean sure, at first it was a very cool gimmick, but now it's just not. As someone who really likes to pose their kits around, these aren't too ideal. So obviously you really don't have any control over the articulation. There's no knee joints, there's no bending or on the legs or anything. Even the head is like, it only relies on the movement of the core motor on here. It's not like I can just lock into place or move the head on my own as well. So that is the downside. So the battery component is on the below section here. You have to unscrew one of these and then put a AAA battery. It requires a AAA battery, and the switch is, once again, they do a good. One thing they did improve is the hiding the whole switch gimmick. So back then there would be a huge giant lever on the back, or like some sort of a winding gimmick that would be protruding outside here, but they definitely did improve that aspect here. Alright, so let's see what we got here. So obviously it's a recolor, but for the head they did an extremely well done job to make it look like the Laeus or Razihel as well. So you can see even there's some teeth going on here. I would like to mention there is like a skeleton structure if you take off all the red parts here. So well done in terms of gimmick and structure going on here. So yeah, obviously the eyes are separate pieces in blue, very, very beautiful blue color as well. So if you turn on the switch here, you can see the head can move, the mouth can open up as well and close. But once again, once it's open, the eyes would go forward. But if you close it here, the eyes go backward for some reason. So that is slightly of a bummer, but that's just the way how it is. So I close the mouth. Now the eyes are heading backwards. So I'm not sure why is that very necessary, but that's the way how it is. Alright, so now let's look at the wings. Now the wings can get a little bit messy depending on how you touch these, but once again, let's see what we got. So the wings, you can extend these blades out to make it very wide if you want to do so as well. So here we have the wings outwards. Let me move the camera backwards. So it's a very wide wing. So the original Sonic Bird would not have these blades. So they would just have only up to this section as far as I know. This black blade is also a different thing. So the Sonic Bird ends up to this point as well. So yeah, so they tried to make the wings much longer by adding these new parts. So I think they did an okay job. But once again, overall, managing the kit, so basically when I fold the wings downwards, it becomes a little bit messy, so you have to constantly fold these up and make sure the end tips don't collide or get stuck in some other place. So there's also a gimmick here where you can put the wing down, or you can click it into place and then leave the wings outwards like that. So well done. So the wings are not exactly motorized, so you can go forward like that, backward like that as well. And then obviously this part can move up and down. That's pretty much it. It cannot go more upward from here. A little bit odd, but oh well. And then here we have those blades. Let me just take it off. Obviously these are on pegs, so obviously moving around or rotating them should be no problem as well. So like moving forward and backward should be no problem as well. So here we have the blades here. These are the part. So you can take this part off to make another blade, and these are the parts that I was talking about where you can use this part and then make it into some sort of blade lighter type weapon here, and then cover up this part. So that's the way how you're supposed to use it. in one way, so that's that. So let me just take this off because it's just the whole balancing is a little bit tricky here because the wings are too wide and then the tail is just too heavy. But once again, really good job because this kit does not have any stickers, so everything you see is either color separated or they're all painted. So like this black, I assume, is now painted, so very well done. Alright, other than that, here we have some cannons. I do like the designs of these cannons. They don't really do much, they're just pretty much there. I don't think they move when you turn on the switch. Let me check. Oh boy. Yeah, so make sure the wings are in correct position because these wings will tend to pop out time to time. So I took off this cover here. Make sure the wings are always between these two tabs, so it has to be in this middle. If it's sometimes when you're messing around, the wings, this part could go here or here, which might end up like making those cracking noise. So I wish this would actually connect in a more better manner, or this would like secure those parts, but that's not really the case. So once again, the cannons do move together with the leg, but that's pretty much it. There's nothing too special about those cannons. So let me just get off this, let me turn it off. Alright, now looking at the legs here, nothing too special. I do like the way how they did the claws here, but once again, for stability, they added these two tabs here. Not the best design. I believe this was an issue back in the original, saying this would make it look ugly, but for stability, they had no choice. So, but once again, if you're not planning to make it move around with motors, I guess you could cut these off if you want to do so. Alright, so finally, now let's look at the tail. Now the tail is very heavy because first of all, Razihel or Laeus has a very huge bulk at the end of the tail, which I believe also holds its poison, if I remember correctly. Because once again, I do play Monster Hunter, and then every time I get hit by the tail, you do get poison. So yeah, I assume the poison is in the tail. So they tried to make it look the same, like try to make it look like the same bulk. While it does work, this also makes it very back heavy. So the way how this works is that here we have the original tail of the kit here, and then you get this armor piece, which you also have to slap on these parts here. So first of all, you get these two thrusters here. You have to slap them on here, and then you get this peg, which allows you to attach this missile launcher looking thing with these two blades to make sure to replicate the end tip blades of the tail of the actual Razihel, and then you slap it on here. This thing itself makes it very back heavy because there's like so much stuff going on here, and then the way how this kit is supposed to work is that this kit is supposed to be like kind of front heavy, but now you're putting more weight on the tail, which there's not much support here, which is why the balance of this kit may feel a little bit off in general. So but once again, I'm surprised that this thing kind of works in a way it does. So yeah. And that is pretty much it, because once again, it's very difficult to say there's articulation. Maybe on the wings, yes, but other than that, there's not much to talk about for articulations. But once again, I'm really glad like Capcom is now being more active in terms of these type of collaborations. I have been playing Monster Hunter since the PSP era, so second G, third. I skipped the Nintendo era because number one, I didn't have the Nintendo at the time for like Wii or Wii U. I did get the 3DS, but very late, so I was pretty much out of the game. So, and then after like a whole time passed, Monster Hunter World came out. I started playing that as well, and then up to Rise, Sunbreak as well. So I am a big fan of Monster Hunter, so I'm really glad that they are releasing these type of stuff. But I do wish, since Wilds is coming out next year, I do hope to see more collaborations items like this, maybe with Zoids or maybe 5-2 Toys. That would be great. So yeah, who knows? Once again, if you're a big fan, or if like this would be I would consider more of a novelty item. So unless you're a big fan, or if you're curious, yeah, I mean, it's really good to have. But if you were expecting to have like some sort of amazing gimmick or great articulation, that's not really the case for this one. So make sure you know what you're buying as well. So once again, I'm not sure how other countries are. This was pre-order months ago, so I'm not sure if you can get it now in a typical shop. So do check around. Anyway, that is pretty much it for the review. So this was a review of the Monster Hunter 20th anniversary collaborations with Takara, Tomy, and Capcom. So this is the Sonic Bird Laeus. If you guys got any questions or requests, in the comment below. I still have more stuff to buy and build and make reviews out, so please stay tuned. Until then, see you guys next time.